The title of Dennis the Duck made me very curious because I'm a big Donald Duck fan and I kind of love anything that plays on that. So I was wondering what this duck would be like and how he would be animated differently to Donald Duck. And having now watched this episode of House of Mouse, Dennis the Duck was interesting, but honestly, the episode itself was not that great. This is a celebration of black and white cartoons, which I love. That's definitely something that really appealed to me, but I feel like it leaned far too heavily on that. It starts off with all of the guests being black and white characters, which was quite exciting. Some of them were very recognizable, like the dancing skeleton. It's great, and I'm a big fan of Disney's early cartoons, so it's great to kind of have a celebration of them alongside the full color animation. I think it looks very good. It's also nice to see some of those characters looking a bit sharper with slightly more modern animation to them. So that all worked very well to me. But where this episode really let itself down, well, there are two things. The first are the cartoon shorts that are in it. And the second is the narrative. Usually with House of Mouse episodes, there's an overarching narrative that carries itself throughout. But this one, apart from Donald having a weird attitude about Dennis the Duck, and I'll talk more about Dennis in a moment, and him finding out some truths about him, there wasn't really much going on now. It was definitely mostly all style and no substance. Thankfully, the visual quality was great, and it was really interesting to see the black and white characters alongside the full colour characters. But aside from that, it absolutely was lacking. Dennis the Duck does have an interesting design because he kind of looks like, well, he doesn't look like a duck, to be perfectly honest, but he looks like what Mickey Mouse might have looked like if Mickey Mouse had originally been a duck. He's got very similar trousers on. He's a lot shorter than Donald. Very, very different animation style. So it's quite an interesting design that I thought was fascinating. He has a fun catchphrase, and I love that Daisy loves that. That definitely was good. So there are bits of this that did work, but the lack of overarching narrative really was quite a letdown when pretty much every other episode doesn't rely on style over substance. As I said, the cartoons were a bit, well, not great. Two of them were classic cartoons, The Whoopee Party from 1932 and Pioneer Days from 1930, both of which I'd seen before. Granted, I'm aware most of the cartoons in House of Mouse are recycled from Mickey Mouse works, but I don't mind them including older clips, but I would have liked them to have included something fresh. We have Mickey and the Goatman, which is a 2002 black and white cartoon, so it was created in 2002 but in black and white, and that is something I like. The fact that they created new content but in black and white to make it seem older, I thought was very creative, and I just wish they'd done that with the other clips as well. I will talk about, well, I've already talked about the Whoopee Party and Pioneer Days, but I'll talk about Mickey and the Goatman separately. They were all decent enough, but just nothing amazing. So to end the second season, I feel like Dennis the Duck is a bit of a letdown. The narrative was lacking. It was definitely more style over substance. Thankfully, the style was very good, and the cartoons were generally a bit of a letdown as well. Needless to say, Dennis the Duck is not my favourite episode, and not the way I was hoping this second season would end.